Oh, I thought the person who could help do that and call in law enforcement joins us now. You saw those runners fleeing on live national television here on Fox News. Just a stark and brazen example of how out of control the southern border seems to be. That man live is Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, just outside Dallas. Mr. Paxton, Mr. AG, I mean, seeing these guys run, does it make you feel like you want to pull out your cell phone, get on the phone and say, go down to La Jolla? We got some. I mean, it seems like they're running all over the place.
Yeah, this is deja vu all over again. It happens every day. It continues to happen. The Biden administration is not doing what they need to do to stop this. As a matter of fact, they're inviting it. And I've talked to Border Patrol many times. They are frustrated because they get diverted by having to deal with logistics and handling these families. You know, we try to help with Texas DPS. We try to help with the National Guard. But there's still not enough to stop the type of invitation that the Biden administration is allowing to happen.
How outmanned are you?
It's significant, and honestly, I feel bad for these border agents who are risking their lives, who are trying to do their jobs. They're not encouraged to do their jobs. They're not encouraged to protect the border. They're not allowed to have the resources that they need. They're not putting up the wall, which Border Patrol would love to have for their own safety, let alone the safety of those who are on the border. So it's incredibly frustrating when I talk to these people who are just trying to do their jobs when they're not given the resources that they need, and they're, again, putting their lives at risk to help us.
Well, the apprehensions are seemingly at near record levels, many years, almost 2 million in the last fiscal year. How do we stop this? You just mentioned the wall in your state, Texas. They've just allocated, $250 million to build your own wall.
Well, it's clear to me that the Biden administration does not want to stop this. They have changed all the policies that stopped this. The Trump administration had implemented the Remain in Mexico program. They'd start deporting criminals that we had in our jails. The Biden administration stopped all of that. We've had to sue them. We've sued them 7 times. We're trying to get that implemented because we've won. They're supposed to be implementing the Stay in Mexico program so that these people don't come in, claim asylum like they're doing, and then disappear for years, and then we never find them. And so we're doing our best. The Biden administration is fighting us every inch of the way, trying to get as many people in here illegally, whether they're criminals, whether they're transporting drugs. It's all good with them.
Do you really think that's fair to say it's good for the Biden administration to like get drug dealers in, that they're encouraging? And it's fine if drug dealers come in and criminals come in?
Absolutely. They know exactly what's happening. They know that when our border agents are busy taking care of hundreds of thousands of people every month, they know that these cartels are gaining strength. They charge for almost everybody that crosses the border is not getting across without paying the cartels, I think, an average about $8,000. At least that's what I've heard from Border Patrol and from the people that I've interviewed that have crossed the border. It's significant money for the cartels. The Biden administration knows this. They're aiding and abetting the cartels in not only the transportation of drugs, but also the transportation of human beings.
The administration is expelling large numbers of people, but what do you want to see them do? I mean, the vice president is the border czar. What should the administration do?
I would encourage them to follow federal law, to do what they are supposed to do under federal law. These laws have been passed by Congress, signed by other presidents, and the Biden administration on day one said, we're not enforcing these laws. And so if they would merely just do what the Trump administration did, which was enforce federal law, put the Remain in Mexico program back in place, deport criminals, and start building this wall, we could have an immigration policy that works. And then if we want to address adding a greater number of people to come here legally, I have no problem with that as long as we're enforcing our laws and this is done lawfully.
You know, folks are watching us right now. You know, they're in Maine, they're up in Oklahoma and Illinois, out in North Dakota, and they're saying, well, this doesn't really affect me. But you have said, quote, the harm is the massive increase in crime. What are you seeing? You get it first in Texas. What are you seeing, and how does that affect the rest of us?
Well, it's certainly, they're not going to be affected like the people along the border whose property is being damaged, who are scared to go out at night or sometimes even in the day because they don't know who's crossing their property illegally. They don't know if it's cartel members or drug runners. The runners that you all just showed on television are probably not the people they want crossing their property.
Yeah.
They have no choice. But what I'm saying is, this is going to affect the entire nation because as these people are moved around secretly overnight on planes and buses, they have COVID. Some of them have COVID. Some of them are drug runners. They are potentially criminals. They could be terrorists. We don't know. We just know that they're being moved all over the country, and we also know we aren't able to keep track of them.
It is pretty astounding, especially when we just saw 4 of those runners live with apparent no consequence. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Mr. Attorney General, thank you for joining us on this Sunday.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Have a great day.
Of course.
Good to see you.